every Sunday.
This is your 24-hour news source, WRAL TV5.
All right.
Before we send a Duke Power Energy specialist to your home,
How do you calculate the heat loss for this area?
we send him to school to learn everything he can about energy efficiency.
Okay, which wall qualifies for the lowest residential rate?
Both of them?
To graduate, he has to know all the right answers,
Now, what's the ideal insulation here?
R30.
because the person he really has to answer to
What do you think?
is you.
Well, we have a couple options here. Let me show you.
This is a can of severe weather paint from Lowe's. It tested better than 5 leading brands. It also has a 15-year durability rating. If you paint your house with this paint in 1991, you won't have to paint it again until the year 2006. Think about it. Severe weather paint from Lowe's. The paint that gets 15 years to the gallon.
No one does more tune-ups than Precision Tune, America's #1 engine performance specialists. And our work is guaranteed for 12 months or 12,000 miles.
Bring it to us first.
This is WRAL TV5, Raleigh, Durham, Fayetteville. From your 24-hour news source, this is the 11 o'clock news with Charlie Getty, Donna Gregory, meteorologist Greg Fischel, and Tom Suter with sports. This is WRAL TV5 News.
It makes you very angry, you know, to think about, because our kids go back there and play.
Deadly cyanide has been found in a Durham neighborhood. Good evening. Emergency crews have diffused a potential disaster in Durham. Officials were worried that chemical containers in an abandoned finishing plant would explode and send a deadly cloud of cyanide gas over a neighborhood of about 5,000 people. Hazardous materials crews averted the problem by removing several drums of corrosive liquid and 2 containers of potassium cyanide. This is the same compound used for executions in gas chambers. The abandoned plant is located on Ross Road in the middle of a heavily populated residential area.
The drum or whatever that they have in the back could have blown at any time. So it's very nerve-wracking.
It's kind of scary because my kids and stuff, they be out there playing on the weekend, and like, you know, maybe they might have seen a wonder to go in there and maybe they took some of the acid or whatever.
A Durham housing inspector discovered the problem following a citizen's complaint. State officials investigated and ordered the immediate removal of the chemicals. They say they were prepared to order an evacuation. Parents are urged to keep their children away from the site until it's completely cleaned up, and that could take several months. The Army Corps of Engineers is in Clarksville, Virginia tonight to answer some questions about possible lead contamination in sand.
That sand has been distributed to different beaches that have now been closed. Angela Hampton is in Clarksville. Angela, did they calm some fears tonight?
Donna and Charlie, I think there are more unanswered questions tonight than anything else. This has been extremely frustrating for people who are worried about possible health risks and also the negative impact that this could have on the tourism trade, which is very important in the Clarksville area. Now, tonight, the Army Corps of Engineers tried to reassure people. All they could really do, though, was say that they plan to start testing the soil at the beaches they've closed as soon as possible. Now, the Clarksville community has come out and said that they've tested the water. The drinking water should be fine, they say. Still, that doesn't answer questions about whether the beaches have been contaminated and how many people possibly could have been exposed to any possible contamination. Tonight, all the government officials could do was say they're trying to answer some questions.
The beach at Rudd's Creek in Mecklenburg County is one of 5 areas here the government closed last week because of possible lead contamination. Experts say they'll test the sand and water here as soon as possible, but they don't know exactly when. But that's exactly what these people want to find out. They're concerned residents, business people, and parents.
I, too, went through one pregnancy and have a 2-year-old child that has been exposed to this water. And I'm very concerned both as a mother and a landowner.
Business owners fear the contamination threat will ruin Clarksville's tourist trade, the town's main revenue source.
We want to see this thing behind us. We want the media to come out here and say this lake is clean. We don't want to see any more lost revenue.
Many people were frustrated by the lack of solutions. They want fast answers.
The solution to this thing is why not scoop it up and put it back where it came from? That would solve the whole problem.
The only real answer is that the folks that caused the problem say they'll try to fix it.
We will move out as quickly as possible. We are not going to delay on this so that we can get a suitable solution.
And Charlie and Donna, that's about the only assurance that people in Clarksville and anyone else who's been to any of these beaches have tonight. Now, the Clarksville people and the government officials say that they will start testing as soon as possible, but no clear timetable for that yet. Another thing that they have not decided yet is whether they will actually test people who think that they may have been exposed to any of these, to any contamination. They say they've got to figure out first if, in fact, the beach sand is contaminated. One other point, apparently this sand from this tungsten mine in Vance County has been used by private people as well for things like driveways and for private playgrounds. And as, in fact, as we reported earlier today in an Oxford school playground, the officials there have found that some of that sand is indeed contaminated. A representative from Granville County came tonight to say, can we get any help for this? And he was told no, so Granville's going to have to deal with that, and the people of Clarksville are just going to have to wait for some answers.
Thank you, Angela.
In other news, a two-car accident late today near Lumberton ties up traffic on I-95 and sends 8 people to the hospital. Police tell us the driver of one car headed north on I-95 apparently lost control, crossed the median, and hit a car full of people. 8 people were taken to Southern General Hospital in Lumberton with conditions ranging from critical to stable. 3 were transferred to other area hospitals. 1 was treated and released. No word on whether any charges will be filed.
Raleigh police are searching for clues in the discovery of a body. A sheriff's deputy found a badly decomposed body in a creek this afternoon behind Wake Medical Center. Investigators tell us it appears the body had been there for several days. An autopsy is being done to determine the cause of death and the identity. A Fort Bragg Green Beret is in the Cumberland County Jail tonight. He is charged with murdering his girlfriend's 3-year-old son. Police say Sergeant First Class Steve Hornback told deputies he hit the child in the head with a hairbrush. Investigators say the incident apparently happened Sunday night as Hornback was babysitting the child. After rescue workers were called to the soldier's apartment, the boy was taken to Cape Fear Valley Medical Center, where a doctor said he was comatose with a blood clot on the brain. The 3-year-old died last night. The child's parents have been separated for about a year. The father is on his way back from Army duty in Turkey. Sergeant Hornback is being held on $60,000 bond and faces a first court appearance tomorrow morning.
A former commando from Fort Bragg suspected of several rapes in 4 states has been formally charged with 2 rapes in Raleigh. As we first told you last night, a Wake County grand jury handed down indictments against former Master Sergeant Marshall Brown. Raleigh and Wake County law enforcement officers say Brown has been indicted for attacks on December 16, 1988, and another on January 2, 1989. Brown is in jail in Rhode Island at this time. Last month, he was convicted on 14 counts of rape and sexual assault in Rhode Island. He's been sentenced to 26 years in prison there. Wake County District Attorney Colin Willoughby says he wants to bring Brown back to North Carolina to stand trial. The expected layoffs at Northern Telecom took place today. 141 employees at the company's Research Triangle Park facility were given their 30-day notices this morning. The company is giving those people a month's severance pay and a week's pay for each year's service. Laid-off employees also will receive help from an outside firm hired by Northern for outplacement. Employees affected come from middle management, staff, and support functions. A company spokesman says some prospective employers already have expressed interest in some of the affected workers. No additional layoffs are planned.
The town of Woodland in Northampton County is now in the spotlight as a possible host for a proposed hazardous waste incinerator. But unlike other areas of the state, Woodland seems to have welcomed the company with open arms. Dwayne Pullman went to a meeting tonight in Woodland and tells us nearly everybody who attended was in favor of the facility.
With the gospel sounds of a local radio station in the background, people in this small town of about 850 go about their business. But their business these days involves luring a hazardous waste incinerator to town. Tonight, people gathered at the community center to step up and show their support for inviting Thermalchem in. Most, like Sarah Timberlake, cite the jobs and the money the incinerator would bring to the economically depressed area.
Well, Northampton County doesn't even have a Hardee's or McDonald's. We don't even have 5 stoplights in Northampton County.
The leaders of the pro-incinerator forces here claim to be the first to invite a hazardous waste handler in, a point one of their leaders is proud of.
We've done something nobody else in the world has done.
And in a switch with those who are usually fighting the incinerator, the mayor of Woodland equates his fight with the support of the environment.
We have to stop creating more sites and start cleaning up the old ones.
And this is the step.
And this is the way to go.
And the way it is going here in Woodland has given Thermalchem officials a lot to smile about.
This is a great possibility.
Even with the lack of opposition, company officials say they're still a ways off from bringing the incinerator here. They say they have several more hurdles to go before that happens. And with Pender County now in the hunt, Thermalchem is in the rare position of deciding between two areas of the state who want to host the incinerator. Dwayne Pullman, WRAL TV5 News, Woodland.
One of those hurdles for the company involves submitting an application with the state to begin the testing process. Thermalchem says it must also buy some land and ask the town of Woodland to annex some land. Company officials say no decision has been made yet. Coming up ahead of us, a witness has turned up in the Kennedy rape case. We'll have the story.
And eating on the run doesn't have to mean extra baggage. We'll have details.
I just wanna take it slow. I just wanna taste that rich. Introducing Kraft 1898 barbecue sauce. Slowly simmered the old-fashioned way for a rich, rich taste. I just wanna take it slow. I just wanna taste that's rich. New Kraft 1898. Slowly simmered for a rich, rich taste.
With Eckerd Ultra Lab 35, you get the best 35mm prints, sleeved negatives, a portfolio case, and one great big extra, prints, 30% larger.
Eckerd, for the pictures of a lifetime.
I hate it when this happens. When you bring your print film to Eckerd for Ultra Lab 35 or System 2 processing, you get more than just great-looking pictures. You get 2 rolls of Kodak film for the regular price of 1.
Eckerd, for the pictures of a lifetime.
Excuse me, I've got a split.
Let me tell you my fantasy. I'm driving with the stereo on, the sunroof's open, just me and Michael winding our way to this little bed and breakfast in my Nissan Stanza. Oh, I know, as fantasies go, it sounds pretty tame. But you should see my real life.
Here's a hint for cutting costs in the kitchen. Bring your groceries home in one of these. You see, Winn-Dixie has low prices nobody can beat. Nobody.
Shop the low price leader for a great price every day on Country Fresh Corn Flakes. An 18-ounce box is just $1.07. And Super Brand ice cream, ice milk, or sherbet is $1.19 a half gallon every day. So lower your total food bill with low prices down every aisle at Winn-Dixie. Low prices nobody can beat. Nobody.
WRAL TV5 News is closed caption for the hearing impaired. Funding is provided in part by Kaiser Permanente and Centura Bank.
In news around our world tonight, 2 Japanese passenger trains slammed into each other today. At least 42 people were killed and more than 400 were injured. Rescuers had to use saws and ropes to free the survivors. No word yet on whether any Americans were on board that train. Japanese officials call it the worst train wreck they've had in 19 years. No word on what caused it. William Kennedy Smith now has a witness in his defense. Smith is charged with second-degree sexual battery, North Carolina's equivalent of rape. One of Kennedy's guards told police he saw the entire encounter and says he neither saw nor heard any signs of trouble. The Queen of England received the White House royal treatment today. Queen Elizabeth II is in the States to make a series of public appearances. She started by thanking President Bush for his leadership during the Persian Gulf War and presented him with the Winston Churchill Award. She will make 18 appearances before Friday. Well, hotel room service, restaurants, or airplanes, 3 potentially good ways to sabotage your diet. Anyone who spends more time in the air or on the road than at home knows how hard it is to stick to the basics.
We have a diet that you can tuck into your suitcase. You can take it on the road, and it's the Medical Beat diet. And our reporter, Denise Boyer, joins us now with more about it.
Pretty interesting. Well, the Medical Beat diet can travel right along with you. You have to think of it more as a lifestyle change than a diet, though. The diet will allow you to pick and choose the foods that you like and want and what's available. That's really important when you're traveling. Each night at 11 o'clock, we will provide you with a menu for the next day, and tonight's menu is perfect for the on-the-go. People on the road or in the air a lot tire quickly of eating out, so we thought 2 Medical Beat diet meals out of a suitcase would offer variety. For breakfast, non-fat yogurt. Mix in some cereal and add a fresh orange. Lunch is 1 ounce of low-fat cheese, 8 crackers, a bag of veggies, and a serving of fruit. We contacted the airlines about preparing one of the low-cholesterol, low-fat meals to see if it fits into the Medical Beat diet. Sure enough, dinner in the air includes 3 ounces of poached salmon, a half a cup of carrots, a half a cup of new potatoes, fresh green salad, and a half a cup of fresh fruit. The diet will work with a busy travel schedule. The important thing is to order the special meals ahead of time and really watch portion sizes. Well, this is the diet, and if you would like a copy, you can contact Durham County General Hospital. You can also contact car drugstores in your area, or you can send a self-addressed stamped envelope to WRAL TV, P.O. Box 12,000, Raleigh, North Carolina, 27605. And tomorrow night, we're going to look at a woman who travels 4 weeks out of 5. She's on the diet, and she thinks it's going to work. We hope so.
Good.
We
Good
wish
for
her
her.
some luck. Still to come tonight, we will hit 90 degrees for the first time this year. Maybe. Greg will be up with the real answer.
And there's no business like show business for these young people. We'll be back with that and more in a moment.
So, your wife wants to go to Hawaii. Why not just take her to Shoney's for our delicious Hawaiian chicken? It's a lot cheaper, and it's just like being there. Well, maybe not exactly. Oh. Shoney's has something for every member of our family. Our picky eater, our salad lover, our bottomless pit.
Yeah, even our tightwad.
I'm not a tightwad. I'm just thrifty.
With Matchlight, you get the best charcoal, Kingsford, with just the right amount of lighter fluid already added. That's why there's only one match for Matchlight. Matchlight from Kingsford.
The 1991 four-door Chevy S10 Blazer 4x4. Engineered with standard four-wheel anti-lock brakes. Open one up and see why nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America. This isn't a castle in Germany. It's not a chateau in France, or even a palazzo in Italy. This is one man's home. George Vanderbilt's Biltmore estate in Asheville, North Carolina. A home that will take you back to an era of opulence and beauty. Visit Biltmore Estate and see for yourself one man's home that is truly a castle.
When did he mention 90? Did he mention 90?
Oh, heck, I've been talking about 90 for about a millennium now, and it hasn't happened yet.
But tomorrow.
It could. It just depends on how much sunshine we get. We don't have a nice, hot, dry air mass to move in here to guarantee it, so all we can do is talk about potential and see how the sunshine turns out. Well, there have been some showers around the area tonight, but unfortunately, not in the areas that would like to see it. Let's review the radar going back to 6 o'clock, and you can see a mishmash of showers and a few thunderstorms here at 6. And then as we move it on ahead to the current time, you can see most of the activity moving toward the east and southeast and dissipating. And as we move up to the current time, this is all false echoes in here, so no problem at all. There were some showers in Wilson earlier. They've dissipated, and all that's left is some stuff southeast of Charlotte and way up there in Virginia. So again, for the rest of the night, not too much going on. 84 and 69 are numbers today. A muggy 74 now, the humidity 84%. Pressure is rising slightly, a very light south wind. There are the recreational lake levels, only a trace of rain at the airport, but if you think we're in the middle of a big drought across this state, you could not be further from the truth. Look at the rainfall totals for the year at the 6 major reporting stations, and Raleigh sticks out like a sore thumb. Everybody else is soaked, either at or way above normal Charlotte, Greensboro, Wilmington, and Hatteras already over 20 inches for the year. We are simply in an isolated pocket that has not gotten all of that rain, and there is no place east of the Mississippi River with any soil moisture problems except extreme southern Florida. So this is a very isolated case. Most of North Carolina doing just fine, thank you. At 11 o'clock, temperatures mostly in the low 70s, 67 at Asheville, 69 at Greensboro, the exceptions. All right, let's go on now to the southeastern cloud loop. And again, you'll see these thunderstorms pop up during the afternoon, but then dissipate with a loss of heat during the evening hours and move on toward the southeast. Now, there is somewhat drier air up in here. It's still very warm. Temperatures got up to the 90s, low 90s across much of central and eastern Pennsylvania today, despite the fact that humidities were down. But you notice that there are still some clouds all through this area here, so it's not exactly a clean-cut, clear air mass, but we do know from looking at all the weather balloon reports through the eastern part of the country tonight that the middle and upper levels of the atmosphere are drying out up in here, and our air is coming from that direction. So with the upper atmosphere drying out, the chance of thunderstorms should be less across much of the area tomorrow. There you can see drier air still sticky here, genuinely cooler up in New England, but that stuff ain't coming here no time soon. Let's move the map on ahead to tomorrow evening. Somewhat drier air here, keeping the threat of thunderstorms down, but southern North Carolina will still have a risk of at least a few with the heat of the day. Forecast for the remainder of the night, chances for showers becoming very slight now, partly cloudy. In the areas that got rain this evening, some patchy fog may form late tonight, the low 67. In fact, understand there's already some out there, so be careful with that. Variably cloudy tomorrow morning, and then just a few afternoon thunderstorms tomorrow, mainly south of the Triangle. Don't expect any rain here in the Triangle area the way it appears. The high tomorrow, 90. If we get enough sun, it's a big if. Partly cloudy, 65 tomorrow night. And then the chance of thunderstorms starts to creep slowly upward Thursday and Friday. And then over the weekend, we'll have a front near us, and that's probably going to be the greatest risk of thunderstorms. And at least for this part of the state, I don't care if it rains on the weekend because we need it.
No, we need it badly. I hope it does rain.
Boy, I do too. And Tom's here with some sports.
All right, they say make it quick, so sports is coming up next, believe me.